Hey there retro games fans, this is Andy C from Pieces of 8-Bit. Welcome to this week's The Bit Between, where I have a look at a game that I've perhaps not played for a long time, or in some cases never even played before. And as part of the Month With series, this month I'm looking at the PlayStation 2, which celebrates its 25th anniversary this year, its 25th birthday. And so for The Bit Between, I'm going to be playing a few PlayStation 2 games for this midweek look back. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the games, and I will then play for a little bit and tell you what I think as I go. So you'll recognise this game if you're a big PlayStation 2 fan, most likely. This is Shadow of the Colossus, and it was released in 2005 for the PlayStation 2. Shadow of the Colossus was developed by Team Ico, the same team that bought you Ico, unsurprisingly, and it was published by Sony Computer Entertainment Japan Studio, directed by Fumito Ueda, I think I pronounced that right, apologies if I didn't. And it is largely considered to be kind of a spiritual successor to Ico, which came out in 2001. And together, both of these games really defined works of minimalist game design. There's very little to go on. There's no heads up or complex controls or anything else like that. They're very, very simple. So very minimalist game design, but also really importantly, that emotional storytelling is a big part. And I remember talking to people back in 2001 with Ico specifically, and then a little bit later on with this one in 2005, and saying how people would say how emotionally attached to the characters they became. They got to this, and people would even shed a tear. It was that deep and that meaningful. So the premise of the game then, you play as Wanda, and you're a young warrior basically who enters a forbidden land, and you're on a desperate quest, it's easy for me to say, to resurrect a girl named Mono, who you'll see in a bit. You basically got to defeat 16 colossal beings. They're all towering, a big towering force of stone and fur and ancient magic and all that sort of thing. And you are basically just armed with a sword and a bow and your horse, Agro, which for some reason, for ages, I thought it was Adam when he was calling it out, which was, I don't know why, I must be going deaf in my old age. Wanda travels across vast empty landscapes to seek out and slay these giants, and each Colossus is a puzzle, essentially, in its own right. So you have to climb them, cling on to them, find their weak points high above off the ground, and quite often in epic, big cinematic style battles. Essentially, the world itself is, rather than being filled with enemies or quests, Shadow of the Colossus basically just focuses entirely on these one-to-one encounters. So imagine basically every bit of the game is like traveling across these landscapes to get to end-of-level bosses. It's basically a game of end-of-level bosses. The world feels quite empty, and that's on purpose. It's quite sort of lonely. Feels kind of sacred. There's lots of sort of old sculptures and things around. It feels very vast and like I say, a bit lonely. And essentially, the silence is only really broken by the wind, the hoofbeats of your horse, and the haunting score, the music score, which is absolutely beautiful. Controls are deliberately quite weighty. Climbing feels a bit like a struggle. The climbing, I think, the mechanic of the climbing does remind me very much of games to come. So certainly games like Assassin's Creed, for instance. It's not just a button press, mash a button to get up a wall. It's a little bit more fiddly than that. And that made every victory feel quite personal, I suppose, and every fall really, really gut-wrenching. So, in terms of its impact, it wasn't about collecting or chasing points. It was about emotion. It was about scale, that moral weight. Each Colossus you defeat feels like a triumph, really, more than a tragedy. And yeah, critics praised it as a masterpiece of art direction and storytelling throughout the gameplay. And it went on to inspire countless developers, including things like Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, even now, much more recent times. We had a remaster, so there was a PS3 HD remaster in 2011 by Bluepoint Games, and then there was a full PS4 remake, which I haven't actually seen, but I really must go check it out, because I suspect that probably looks absolutely beautiful. That was basically bringing this whole thing to a new generation. I'm just going to skip through to a new game and get through to the cutscenes of that. Let's just do that. So I've had a bit of a more of a play of it. I haven't played this game for a long time, and you know, as a result, I was a bit rusty when I went back and played it, and so I probably haven't played this game for 20 years. It definitely feels like Ico. I played Ico more. I think I've played Ico more recently as well. Yeah, it is a really lovely looking game. And considering the age of this game as well and the power of the platform, I think it looks really, really good. Like I said, I'd quite like to have a look at the PS4 version of this and have a look. I tried to go out that door earlier and it was locked. So I guess that's going to be something that I'll come to a bit later on. Okay. So I think we're just going to head down into the tunnel now. I'm not in control of this yet. It's a really, really long cutscene, which I'll probably skip in a minute. And obviously, you can watch that yourself in your own time. But yeah, just to summarise then, really, Shadow of the Colossus isn't really just... It's not just a game. It's haunting. It has that beautiful journey. And I think this, and Ico as well, proved that video games could just be art. I mean, that is what this is. So yeah, really, really beautiful looking game. Right, right, he's going to scurry all the way to the bottom now, and he's going to find Mono. So let's skip that. I'm just going to play for 10 minutes. Basically, what I'm going to do, well, it might be a little bit longer. I'm going to head out to the first. I'm going to head out to the first Colossus, and we're going to try and defeat the first Colossus. And it's a little bit of a what's the word? Bit of a tutorial on the controls and those kind of things here. So this is the girl that I was talking about. I can't remember the reason why she is unconscious. I don't suppose that necessarily matters at this point. There's my horse over there. So I'm going to go the shortcut way. I think there's another way to get down, although I can't remember, so I'm just going to go this way. It does cost me a little bit of health, I think. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. Now, I can hold my sword up, and if I hold my sword up in the air, I get this sort of little beam of light, and you can see as I move away, it spreads and then it focuses, and that is basically what it's doing, is pointing to where I need to go. So it's telling me there, look, hold the sword using circle and hold to where the light beam focuses. Got a few weapons, so if I use the D-pad, I can swap my weapons, and you've basically got your fists, your bow and arrow, and your sword, and that is it. And for this first one, we're not going to need the bow and arrow. We do in the second one. And then to get on our horse, you have to be kind of right next to it, otherwise he jumps in the air. And that is it. And unflattering view of the horse there. Now the horse isn't going to move until I press X to get him to give him the horse a little kick. And if I do that a few times, there we go, and he's going to gallop away. So we are heading over to that little cliff face in the distance over there. And I'm just going to keep tapping. There we go. Oh yes, we have a map as well. Let's just have a look at that. So this is where we come from in the middle here. And you can see where I am there, that little orange flashing arrow. Not anything on here of any note really at the moment. So we're just going to carry on going where we're going. And we'll soon be there, it won't take long. And the landscape is very much like this all the way through. It is very dark and, very bleak and very empty. You can probably just hear me clicking away now as I'm just trying to keep my horse moving. Okay, can I get a little cutscene? There we go, and it's just going to show me I've got to go all the way up there. So this is really just a bit of a practice for you to get the hang of the controls, just to give you an idea of climbing and jumping and all those kind of things. Let's see how rusty I am at all of this. Nice thing is it's got the two analog sticks, work quite nicely for PlayStation 2 game. Oh yes, triangle, and then it's, there we go, triangle and then R1 to hold on. And then we just move the stick up. Then to climb up, you let go of the triangle button and just press it again. And you can see on the bottom right there where my health bar is. That's the red one, and then that's that sort of pink circle, and that's essentially my stamina. So if I hold on too long, eventually I will fall off. So you just got to be a little bit careful. You can't just hold on to things indefinitely. There we go. Triangle to jump, and it's triangle, And then, yeah, you should let go of the directional stick and then just press triangle to pop up the top. There you go. And we can move the camera. I think if we press L1, not that we've got anything to lock on, I think that will lock onto enemies as well. Okay. That's right. R1 and triangle to roll. It's a little fiddly, the controls, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. It tends to be worse if you're in a bit of a panic and you're fighting one of the Colossus. I'm trying to get up here as quickly as I can so as not to waste too much time. This is pretty standard fare. Gripping onto stuff like that, and then we got to push backwards, press triangle, and then you're going to fall off. There we go, not quite, there you go. You have to make sure you're holding on to R1, otherwise you end up falling all the way back down again. And if you hold R1 when he tends to walk as well. Here we go, we're going to get a cutscene now with the first of the Colossuses. This is Colossi? Colossuses? I don't know actually. What's the plural of Colossus? Is it just Colossus? Who knows? Alright, so we're going to just watch that Colossus over there. And we are just going to run straight in. Now this one, they're all quite hard actually. I would say there's no easy ones. Not that I recall anyway. This one is one of the less difficult ones, obviously because it's the first one, but it's not necessarily straightforward. Right, so I'm going to try and get behind it. Oh yeah, that's a point actually. What I need to do, before I do that, I know where I need to go, but I'm going to just do this anyway. If I hold the sword up, it's going to tell me where his weak points are. So there we go. So on his head, and there I've got rumble going all crazy here. That's on the back of his leg. So I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to try and get behind him. Now the nice thing is, of course, they're quite slow moving. So there'll be like a little target on the top of where you have to essentially attack him, and if you get in their way, of course, they're going to absolutely clobber you. So whilst they're slow, if you are in their way, that's bad news. Right, okay. Oh, look at that. I didn't even do anything. You just have to wrong place, wrong time. Right, triangle. There we go. Okay, so this is the first bit, and I'm going to just... He's going to walk around, and it's going to be difficult for me to hold on. Oh, come on. So press square, and then you press square again. There we go. We're going to get a little cutscene. He's going to fall over now. So we've got to basically head up towards his head. This is where it's quite tricky. There we go. And move around here. And you'll see my little pink circle down the bottom there is getting smaller. I need to get up to this next level here. Come on. Come on. Before I run out. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, there we go. That was a little bit close for call. Now I've got to just be slightly careful because as he moves around, I can fall off. Oh. You've got to get... It's a balancing act between holding on and making sure you recover your stamina. Right. Oh, this is tricky. There we go. Right, okay, that's what I needed to do. Now, what I might do... I probably can just get straight at the top if I'm quick about it. I'm not going to be quick about it, am I? Right, here we go. Up we go. All the way to the top. Now, he's not going to like this very much, as you might imagine, because I'm going to basically put a sword in his head. I need to get back onto the top here and recover a slight amount before he moves again. Recovers quite quick, so you don't need to panic too much. And then we're going to get over to this bit on the top. You see, this little part here is what I've got to stick my sword into. There we go. And the nice thing about this one is once you get up here, it's actually not too tricky. The next one has got 2 points that you have to get. So there's one, it's basically like a big woolly mammoth thing, and you have to get to its tailbone, essentially, top of its tailbone first. And then you have to kind of get over these ridges and get to its head, and then it moves around. It shakes its head around all over the place. So you're kind of holding on. and trying to right, I'm gonna run away. I don't think I can run away. I think this thing gets me anyway. There we go. Yeah. I don't think you can avoid it. So not quite sure what happens there. And then I'm going to end up back at the temple again. So that wasn't too bad, actually. That was easier than I remember. I guess because you've got to figure it out. We'll probably just head out towards the next Colossus for a few minutes. And here we go. We are back now at the temple. So what do I think of this game? Well, I think it is an incredible game. It is so different to anything else that I've played, other than Ico, which is very, very similar. I just think it just looks amazing, and I love the minimalist style of it. I love the design of it. I love that haunting soundtrack. It's just lovely to play, and it's a game. I don't know. It's not an action game. It's not. I don't really know how you describe it. It's not like anything else. I enjoy a good racing game. I enjoy a good puzzle game. I enjoy a good platformer. But this is something different, and I'm not entirely convinced there are really that many games that have kind of met this high bar of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus in recent times. I'm just not sure. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know why. I don't know. It's just not a thing. All right. So I'm just going to play for a few more minutes, and I'll try and talk as I go. I'm just going to throw myself back down here. I know where I've got to go. We are going over there, and in fact, actually, you can see down there. Look, you see, there's like a gate, and that's where the next Colossus is going to come from. There we go. Here it comes. Next one. Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, it is kind of woolly mammoth-like, isn't it? I guess. Maybe with slightly shorter tusks. But I've got to climb over that back. He's got all those ridges on his back that I have to climb over to get to that. And I've got to disable him first. And he's got basically soft feet, which I've got to fire an arrow into. It reminds me of the ATSTs in Star Wars a little bit. Right, okay, so I'll show you anyway, just for fun. So you can see I've got a weak point on the head, and there's a weak point on his back there, and then weak points on his feet. So I'm just going to go over this way before he tramples me. I don't think he can trample my horse, but I'm not. Well, there's nothing I can do about it if he does, to be honest. I don't think that's a thing. So I'm going to go behind, because you'll see under his feet here he's got these little glowing bits that pop up. Oh, that's very good, was it? Don't have a limit on arrows, so I don't have to worry too much about that. There we go, down. Right, so now what I've got to do is I've got to come around here. A little while to do it, but not too long. And then I have got to get up here. There we go. I'm going to climb up to his back. There we go. Here we go. Let's finish on this then. So press square, hold square, and then press square again to release. Point to finish, isn't it? And then one more, I think. No, one more. There we go. I think that's going to fade now. There we go. That's going to fade, and then I've got to not fall off. Oh my goodness me! Right. That's it. So until the next one, please do all take care of yourselves. I will see you around. Obviously, if you enjoy these videos as well, I forgot to say it, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Loads of new subscribers lately, so thank you so much for your support. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.